It is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it.
Okay, look, I know that she's coming off of Wicked. She's super hot right now. But seriously, Cynthia Erivo is like the last person that I would think of to cast as Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. Now, if you guys are unaware of the musical Jesus Christ Superstar, this is a musical that came out in the 70s, I believe, and it was very controversial already, like at the start, at its time. There was also a film adaptation that came out as well in the 70s. If you watch that, it is very, very 70s. But the Broadway show itself, it's been very controversial like throughout the years. It's a very interesting take on Jesus' last days before he was crucified, and the show really centers around Judas and Jesus, and that's where a lot of the controversy comes from, because a lot of Christians, Catholics, didn't like the portrayal of Judas. They didn't like the things that he said when he sang about Jesus. They didn't like the way he judged Jesus. They didn't like the way he spoke to Jesus. They thought it was very disrespectful. And they didn't like the way it kind of turned the audience against Jesus, to where you kind of think that Jesus really kind of deserved everything that came to him because you're looking at it from Judas's point of view. There are some incredible ballads in this movie. To play the role of Judas and to play the role of Jesus, you really have to be a powerhouse of song. And like I said before, a lot of people have portrayed the role of Jesus. One popular one is Ben Forster. His voice is just incredible in that role. Ted Neely, he played the role of Jesus in the movie that came out in the 70s. And he also sang the song Gethsemane, which is the huge ballad that Jesus sings the night before his crucifixion. He also sang that at the 50th revival of Jesus Christ Superstar. And the dude is like in his 80s at the time and he could still rock it. That's an incredible, incredible song. Other more recent people who have come out and played that role would be John Legend. John Legend also played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. And even Mel C from like the Spice Girls, she played the role of Mary Magdalene at one point. But it really wouldn't cross my mind to cast Cynthia Erivo as Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. Now, there's no disrespect to Cynthia Erivo. She is a powerhouse of a performer. She has an incredible voice. But this right here is the most controversial casting that I have seen. And it's purposeful. Like, in my opinion, this is purposeful. This casting was made just to garner reaction. Seriously. Wicked star Cynthia Erivo to play Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl. The Hollywood Bowl, it's going to run from August 1st through August 3rd. And Cynthia Erivo right now is the only casting that has been announced. Now, while this casting is controversial, it does say right here that the casting of Erivo is sure to draw large crowds on the back of Wicked's runway box office success. At the same time, the choice of Erivo, who publicly identifies as queer and has been romantically linked to Lena Waithe, could also be seen as provocation that will likely generate social media chatter and a backlash among devout Christians. Now, like I said, the original Broadway show had already received backlash, but this is definitely going to receive a lot of backlash. This is coming off of like the Paris Olympics, where the Last Supper was portrayed in such a disrespectful way. And I know that they wanted to backtrack and say, oh no, that wasn't the Last Supper. It clearly was. No matter how much you want to backtrack, it was. It was a portrayal of the Last Supper and it was done very disrespectfully. Cynthia Erivo is no stranger to Jesus Christ Superstar. She actually starred as Mary Magdalene in an all-female version in 2020. So I have no doubt in my mind that Cynthia Erivo is able to sing these big Jesus Christ Superstar numbers, most notably the popular number Gethsemane, which is the huge number and has these incredibly high notes. It's a very difficult song to sing, and I know that Cynthia Erivo would kill it. But my question is, why? There are so many male performers that can play the role of Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. Why cast Cynthia Erivo? It is a very controversial casting that's going to upset a lot of people, and I get that this is only playing for 3 days at the Hollywood Bowl, but still, this is huge news. There are people calling it blasphemous. There are people calling it a mockery. I would kind of see it as disrespectful. I've called it disrespectful. This is Hollywood intentionally disrespecting Christianity and Catholicism, and that's pretty much the only religion that Hollywood tends to disrespect. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure why Cynthia Erivo would position herself in this role, knowing that there's going to be backlash. I'm not sure why she would do that to herself. I really do find it disrespectful. I think that there are plenty of men that could have been cast as Jesus that could hit those notes. I mean, even Dan Vasc has a cover of Gethsemane. But they're really trying to push Cynthia Erivo right now. She's also been chosen to host the Tony Awards, and that I don't really mind. It makes sense for her to host the Tony Awards. She's a Tony Award winning actress, so that makes sense to me. This doesn't really make sense to me. I understand that you want to stay booked and busy, but there are some roles that you can pass on. My question is she going to do her, really big nails for this role as well? Anyways, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think in those comments down below, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, everyone.